Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the inaugural moment of the Office Showdown. I am Sandbag, and joining me, reunited, Zathos. We got some League of Legends action. The Nativz gaming team taking on the Alumni Guild. We're looking to hit things off right off the bat. Zath, how are we doing on this one?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I think the last time you and me casted together was about a month ago now. And for everybody at home, that's a long time over at the Irish Collegiate Series. And we enjoy Nativz quite a lot, even gave us a shirt here for the Office Showdown. And to be honest, a little bit of a mismatch with two of these teams, but I'm so excited for our first game to kind of understand the levels of what we're going to be seeing here at Office Showdown.
Absolutely, right? This is the first taste, the first look. You're looking to try and get a feel for the new overlays, the new teams. It's going to be a matter of everyone trying to find their groove a little bit on this one, and we're going to be doing the same, right? We're going to have no game on gremlins, no pauses, no tech issues. Everything will be running smooth. That is a Sandbag guarantee. And to introduce the teams, lots of familiar faces. Ireland Collegiate has definitely had its fingerprints on this, and with the Office Showdown, pulling in some old familiar faces, Zath, you might be able to run down some of the standouts of these two squads.
Yeah, so a couple of the standouts, of course, you have the people over at Nativz. Players like Sammy were at 300 LP just a little while ago. Had a bit of a rough split, but I'm going to be seeing him in the jungle there. And with this Nativz side, it's all going to be about how they actually merge well together. And that's what the Office Showdown is the people in your office being able to work together as best as possible. They have Wiggler as well, somebody who has been helping in the UKL Division 2 with that Nativz roster. While on the opposite side, probably the stronger members, we have to say, with Annihilation, somebody who I don't even think we have to explain is most likely going to be annihilating this Nativz side, but I don't want to say it too early.
No, not at all, right? So we have kind of pulling this one back a little bit, kind of setting the scene, kind of getting ourselves set up. This is a best of one. This is going to be everyone getting a chance to show something early. We have mixed rosters, I will say that. There's going to be certain components that are, have been grinding and playing super serious, locked in and climbing up the ladder. Sammy,
yeah,
has also been playing games.
The opposite.
He's been like if it was golf, he would be popping off right now. That score is getting lower and lower by the minute. Like if that was the structure, we're on a tear here. So like you said, Annihilation, Cephalon, Pletidig, all this kind of Diamond Master-esque calibers. But you know what they say? Sometimes the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Maybe there's certain chemistries to be had here that's just not quite seen on the score sheet.
Now, with the chemistry, I'm really excited to see Sammy and Wiggler on the same team. The mid-jungle duo. Wiggler is somebody who has, of course, won the Irish Collegiate Series a couple times. Somebody known for his Aurelion Soul and these really hard-carry mid-lane mages. And Sammy, he's literally told me I can play Karthus. I can play other massively annoying champions like Master Yi. So the combination is going to be unique. And hopefully that can actually make it where the mixed alumni are going to be so confused at the enemy draft, they don't know what to do. Because I think if we keep to simple League of Legends, everything is played how it's meant to be, mixed alumni are going to be the heavy favorites coming into it. So Nativz, they need to change it about, need to get something in towards their favor. And I think maybe this mid-jungle duo is the way to do it.
I absolutely agree. It's the whole concept of if you don't know what you're doing, how is the enemy team supposed to know what you're doing? The jungle has often been described as a game of chess, moves and counter moves. And when you pull up with a pack of Uno cards and some dominoes that you found, trying to play a game of chess against that can be a bit of a nightmare. That can be the angle here.
Well, it depends what rules you're playing by. If you're playing by chess, I think you just completely lose. But if you try and make it a little bit messy, gaslight them into thinking what the rules are of the game, you could be in a very solid position. Because, of course, other things have been changing on this Nativz roster. We have one of our own. We have a caster playing today, OVK, someone that has been in the Irish Collegiate Series for, honestly, longer than both of us have been here, or at least for me. So it's great to see him on towards that ADK position. And, of course, Adam Conway being that support. But we have one of our own friends as well on towards the top lane, and that is going to be Marvelous Badger.
Yes, the last minute X factor that is going to be jumping in here in lieu of our very own Celtic. I will say there has been some top lane play recently, primarily the support player. So seeing what's going to be brought out, I'm cautious. I will say that much. I am cautious of the
But
role
are you
swap. No,
optimistic?
I'm gonna leave it at cautious. The 30 minutes of warning on the role swap is maybe.
But that says nothing,
Okay.
does it? You could be cautious to do something. I'm cautiously optimistic. You're positive. I don't think you can say cautiously negative, but it definitely feels that way with how you're trying to describe it. Hear me out, right? Because I've got a game plan for Nativz. They have decided to go for the red side, and yes, sure, you have a somewhat support main up top. But on my team, we basically have a support main up top called a tank player. So that's what I think Badger's going to do. Going to be playing the Yon, maybe the Shen, have Sammy on one of those hard carries that we talked about before, and have Wiggler try and hold Sammy on a leash. Because what he said is, I'm going to make it entertaining, I might run it down.
I feel like we have to give a couple shout outs, right? If this is the office showdown, this is the premiere, the pilot, this is the very beginning. Where did we leave off, right? The last time you and I casted for this kind of Nativz conglomerate, there were news running around the map at Mock Jesus wreaking havoc. There were Aurelian souls being slammed. There were Smolders being. There was all sorts of just wacky and wonderful picks that are looking to make that game a little bit messy. And as we've moved into the new season, right, we got the Spirit Blossom, we got the new Atacon, Grub changes. There's wrinkles here. Heavy favorites on one side, but as we look into this draft here, I want to get some chaos going. Some of these OPs, get them out of here.
Yeah. OP champions of the current patch, everybody isn't enjoying going against the Vi, so that's most likely getting locked away. But instead, Nativz going for those more comfort picks, and I think that's the best style at this level, because at the highest, sure, Vi is absolutely busted, but if your jungler doesn't play it, there's no point of getting that out. So instead, going to be taking away that action. That does make me think that they want to pinch this mid lane pool just a little bit more, making it where you can't play those AP junglers like the Carthus that has been banned away.
Yep. This another one is the Varus, for example. Some of those primary, the safe, reliable style of champions, and the Karthus account has been discovered, taken away alongside the Skirner, Earthshaker. Not going to be able to get his hands on that one. Some of these more reliable picks are going to be taken away, and the Syndra running out these blue side bans.
Yeah, and I absolutely love it as well, because of when Sammy came in here beforehand, he literally said, I've been Nami ulted, just by how much he's been winning on that champion. So no wonder that's been banned away. But you can see Mix Alumni have very much focused on this mid 2v2 I talked about, getting away 2 of those mid lane champs and 1 of those jungle champs for Sammy. While on the opposite side, it's a little bit more of a spread. We said about the Udyr being very difficult for some of these hard engage or maybe assassin style champions that Nativz may be thinking of picking up. So banning that away, plus the Skarner and of course the Karma, I'm having big thoughts that Nativz want to go for a hard engage composition. And when you're trying to get more cohesive as a team, it's easy to execute.
Again, as you called out, my mind kind of wanders to the Vise of the world, things that are seemingly everywhere. The Pantheons as well, that are point and click CC. The hover, we are too pro for this, Zath. We are not baited by hovers. It is locked in. I'm double baited. It's locked in. Yumi,
what are we
R1. R1
How
Yumi.
are we meant to break it down? So like, guys, the first pick, fantastic. You're like, okay, I picked Tristana. We can flex it between mid and bot lane. We're going to get a decent matchup. And then the enemy says, we don't care. We're going to slam a Vayne Yumi and you're not going to have a fun time. OBK, very popular on this champion. Vayne, very solid in the meta. Support, is alright the game. Probably better on Yumi. So it makes sense. But his bot lane, I'm so petrified that you're just going to pick maybe a Nautilus into it. Maybe a hard engaged jungler as well. There's no opportunity, as now this Poppy locked in means that Yumi physically can't detach from Vayne unless you want to just die.
Nor can Vayne press her Q key. Tumble is going to be stuffed. Vayne doesn't want to press her Q key. Yumi doesn't want to press her W. You and me detach not going to be happening. Another OP pick.
Mixed Alumni are playing it so well. The reason I love this is because one of the biggest counters to Nefiri is that Poppy. So they pick up the Poppy because it counters the Vayne and the Yuumi, but more importantly, it opens that space up for the Nefiri, who still very much can be flexible towards that middle jungle. So Mixed Alumni, yes, they've shown a lot of their cards, but they haven't shown all of them. While on the side of Nativz, welcome to Office Showdown.
Peak League of Legends, and it comes from Europe. We were saying, okay, to their credit, at the very start of this breakdown, when we were kind of given the preamble, we said, get weird, make it weird. You are a much better chance, much better standings, if it is not normal League of Legends.
Hey,
Yuumi Vayne is not normal League of Legends.
They do not ban Nautilus and Leona, I'm going to be very sad because this Poppy can still be flexible towards the top side. It's playable in that OP.GG. And Master Yi is unironically a really good champion here. In the theory, you can dodge away their ultimate with your Q. You could just one-shot an AD carry. Poppy doesn't have massive forms of CC except for that ultimate or a stun in the wall that Master Yi should be able to dodge across from. So this Master Yi pick is really great. I'm just concerned it's a little early. I think this could have been that R5 pick as they got to choose that red side. So instead, they will be banning away two of these AP mid laners, most likely thinking that Nefiri will go towards the jungle, but he has had a recent nerf where he isn't as strong as he used to be.
You say that as if the Master Yi was going to be on the, on the forefront of your minds of premium bans for Mixed Alumni. We'll hide this away so they don't ban it out in second.
It's not hiding it. It means that the enemy team doesn't pick champions that mass counter this champion. I would have 100% just picked in a Leona, picked in a Nautilus, wiped my hands and said, cool, good day. We've done our job. So now they're forced to maybe pick something like a Malphite. Even a Renekton top lane could be a really solid pickup. As towards the mid lane, we have the Master Yi in the jungle, going to have that EP carry in the mid lane. And it is going to be Rise. And the one benefit for Nativz is, if they survive early, they will dominate late. The question is, can this team comp survive? Honestly, I don't know.
This game ends in 26 minutes. Like, at this point in time,
I think it's lasting that long.
I think Baron's gonna pop his head up and watch the Nexus explode like fireworks. I fear. I really, really fear here for the Nativz draft. This is so much late game. It'll be very tough to go through as we have the next set of picks. It's gonna be the Annie and the support to round it out. You were looking towards the hard engage style, right? The Knots, the Leos, ways to lock down a Yi. Melio, thoughts and opinions?
So there's two thought processes here. I think Lulu would have been a better option, definitely from the side of Mixed Alumni. You can of course polymorph that Yi if he wants to try and come in. Gives enough time for the Yanni and the Tristan to burst him. But the reason they probably went for that Melio is you can cleanse away the CC from the Rise. Not massively important. I think they just picked it up for that extra range on the W. Means that bot lane 2 versus 2 is very strong on the side of Office Showdown. And the person that they gave counterpick to was Marvelous Badger, a support main up top lane. So if we want to look at these drafts, we can be polite and say it was a draft diff. I'm going to call it a draft canyon, because honestly, if Nativz pick up a win here, I don't know. I'm going to bet, honestly. I'm not a betting man, but you have to, with how big the difference is in these drafts.
Pulling a tiny scrap of analysis to bear on whatever is kind of lurking at the bottom of my screen right now, I do wonder why they did not leave their mid pick towards 5th to try and find some sort of game warping play. If you knew you were going to try and find some sort of, relatively safe blind tank, Cho'Gath can more or less shrug off the majority of damage, right? You have the Doran Shield, you have the Cho passive, and then you have Second Wind. You're shrugging off the vast majority of the poke. You can play pretty safe. You can farm for late. This, as you said, if, in all caps, italics, underlined, boldened, this game is not a complete horror show in the early game, Nativz can clutch this out, absolutely. Does that happen?
Oh, I need to say one thing. I would love to say, yes, if Nativz get a huge lead, they win it. But have you ever gone against the Tibbers, just smacked in your face, plus the Theory smacked in your face, plus a Tristana burst damage? Yes, they have chances, but those chances are going to be very thin because any of those ultimates are up. One of these key members is going to be wiped, as only Marvelous Badger is able to deal with it and tank it.
I'm gonna jump in. One of. They bought 3. Like, it's normally it's the our hyper carry will carry us through late. No, this is our hyper carries, plural with the Z. You one-shot our Yi because he jumped in. Nice Tibbers. Shame if the 3-item Vayne just ran through the rest of your team. Ryze has 9k HP, 40k mana, is just running around at Mock Jesus with Phase Rush. If this goes late, it's over.
It is Wiggler as well.
It is Wiggler. And a player who is comfortable in holding out, right? He was even hovering the Acel. A player who is very proficient in being able to hold ground and play for late, right?
He does have push pressure on the Ryze, so it will be able to roam around the map trying to help out the Master Yi as possible. And maybe that's the answer, because you've got Pyro mids, top lane's in a great matchup as well. You might just have to try and get your Vayne to survive under a tower with the Yuumi, while the rest of the team plays for the mid 2v2, look for those Void Grubs and start looking for these tower dives, because you still have the benefit of Cho'Gath winning out on the Poppy, and you still have the benefit of Ryze free scaling towards the mid lane. Yes, you can get one shot if the enemy jungler wants to come in, but that won't happen towards level 6. So in those early stages, maybe if they can late invade the enemy jungle, steal away a few of those camps and start that acceleration, there will come to a point at first item or even half an item where this Nativz can't actually keep up with the Master Yi. As the most recent patch, the big problem was Nativz was too quick at clearing these camps that no other jungler can keep up. But now, Nativz takes about 2 minutes 30 for the first clear. Master Yi is still the same in first, however, afterwards, it's just quicker and quicker and quicker. There's going to come a point where he is massively going to outscale. I'm just concerned that he's going to need 4 items before he ever has the survivability. As you need a Jack Show, maybe a Spirit Visage, honestly, against the enemy team with the Yuumi. I'm having so much copium here, trying to give Nativz an out, and it's really hard to find one.
You said you're a betting man, Zath. You have the drafts at your disposal. You have the champion select at your disposal. What are you looking to bet here, right? This is you said you're a betting man.
I'm not betting
what are
my
your
house.
odds? What are your numbers? What are you thinking here?
Okay, so we're at a betting shop right now, right? We've gone into like 365 or something.
Sure.
I'm giving it. They have Wiggler. They have Sammy. Sammy can actually play well if he thinks about it. I'm giving it a 1 to 50. Those are my odds. I was going to go 1 to 100, but those players, you know, brought it down.
You run the draft 100 times and they get 2 wins.
Honestly, 1 in 50 then.
That's what it. So 1 in 50 is if you run it 100 times, you get 2 wins out of this. It could happen. Honestly, I could see it. But as we jump into Summoner's Rift, we are going to see if the math nerds among us will be celebrating the 1 in 50. Or can they beat the odds? Can Nativz look to try and stymie any sort of early aggression? The 5-man invade, setting the tone exactly as I would expect with Zath. 3 flight checks. Normally this is tradition, you and I. What is the Melio running in this game? Can we talk about it?
He's gone first strike.
Right. Okay, keep going.
He's gone... Now I'm excited. Okay. All right. Taking a second to bring that back. Decided to go for that Poppy instead towards the support role. I think they understood that they draft canyored them to the nth extreme, that they instead said, give me Melio top lane. So Marvelous Badger, if you lose this top lane, oh, you're not here at the end of it, my friend. We are going to be having a lot of fun in our Discord about that later on. But first strike up towards that top side. Guys, Jimmy does that support item. I'm trying my best here, Sandbag. I really am. It's
welcome to my world. You're out here with all your fancy schmancy odds and analysis, and I want to watch 5 people smack their keyboards in perfect unison playing the concertina. It's Yui doesn't have a support item. Doesn't it buy it? Does it not buy it for you?
Item.
Surely it buys it for you in this patch, no?
Okay. There's a
Doesn't
really
it?
small chance that there's a glitch happening where she wasn't able to buy it because it meant to buy it for you, or they just forgot to do it because it's a custom. As early into the game, Vayne is not having a good time.
Slammed into the wall and ignited. OBK down to 100 HP, forced to burn both his summoners. And Poppy base damage. Making use of it early here with those Halo Blades.
Yeah, Ghost and Flash still available, and Melio as a champion gets bonus damage on towards all of his auto attacks whenever he uses one of those abilities. When you actually want to play Melio for damage, you can actually max that Q, and it does about 300-400 damage at level 9 with those base stats. So early into the game, Melio can be quite aggressive if you know how to play around that. Of course, I'm not sure how difficult it is going to be, as you do have Dove and Shield, have yourself wanted life, even that grasp as well. Towards bot lane.
Meanwhile, Pleather Dig, this is Maniac finding the slam. Q gets both procs, and that is easy work for the bot lane. Blue team picking up first blood onto this flashless Vayne.
And this Melio doesn't even have to win out the top lane. It seems like putting that Poppy down towards bot was the best decision. There's no OBK with no Flash, no Ghost, has been a really big deal for this Master Yi, as Sammy, for his first 2 clears, is very weak against the Fury and the enemy jungler. So Poppy here with Halo Blaze just actually bullying him out of his jungle, trying to see what he can get. Fortunately, Sammy surviving for now.
Bruno able to get some of these creeps and rejoining with OBK. He does have the Vayne in tow, but here comes Dr. House. Might be a trap laid. Sammy's gonna be jumping in with that Q, but here comes the Fury burst and flashing to the other side. It's 1-for-1 trade. Nativz Gaming get one and must kite their way on out. Annihilation continuing to dash forwards. Meanwhile, the Yuumi did successfully pick up a support item. That was a Targon's Brace proc. We are on the board, and Yuumi is accumulating gold.
I think it's about the small wins today, all right? Sure, winning a game is super important, but if you can get a kill, honestly, Nativz, we're in a very happy position. As towards the top lane, Marvelous Badger not having fun in towards that Melio, looking like that Q is going to be propped at the start. However, Sammy has himself the kill. If he can find himself a big enough lead, there's a big opportunity.
They're connecting, slowed with the ease. They're going to be able to get their way onto this Melio and likely going to straight up kill him. Flashing away the Cho'Gath. One more auto attack. Does not have the juice fired up. Does not get it done. Cho'Gath lives, and that is a swift gank up in the top lane. Meanwhile, bot OBK is going to take a whole host of damage. The Poppy under the structure, picking up the Feat of Warfare just in time to secure the first Feat of Strength component.
Yeah, it's looking rough for the side of Nativz, but Sammy with that double kill, once he can find that reset, it's been a really strong situation. However, Wiggler getting very much pushed in towards the mid lane side. I wasn't expecting in the early game. And because of this, you could just see
Collision course. Level 4, Sammy and House going to be doing battle, but here comes Emmett to turn the tide. Stunned and slain. Master Yi. No hope to outplay that one, as the Poppy's going to look to continue her reign of terror across Summoner's Rift. Into the wall, traded out with tower shots, but it's an execute, Zath. Does not get an auto off. That's a freebie, and the Poppy stamping her authority on the game.
Yeah, Poppy doing a great job using the priority they have towards the bot side to roam whenever they want, get themselves a few kills towards the bot lane, get another kill on towards the Neferi in the jungle, and Master Yi may have 2 kills to himself, but the exact same can be said for Neferi, so they're able to hold off Master Yi for now. Because when we look at the CS lead, yes, he has those 2 kills, but he's actually down 12 CS in that jungle.
12 CS in the jungle and losing time, right? When you hit the gray screen twice over the course of a 6-minute span, you are just going to be slower and slower and slower trying to get towards that all-increasing jungle clear that Master Yi is so famous for. And as we have a bit of a moment here, we have a gold lead in the 3Ks in 6 minutes. Despite what it may look like on the top of your screen, it is farm leads pretty much across the board. Sammy gonna be jumping in, going underneath the tower, but stunned and destroyed. That is ambitious. And Sammy paying the price, maybe a bit of a content play on that one.
I don't even think it was a content play. If he gets that auto attack off, the next one, it would have had his passive for the double auto attack and it would have killed, but it was just too little too late. Yet again, Poppy finding and looking for more towards the spot lane, and you have to question, how does Nativz get back into the game? There has to be a massive overstep from Mix Alumni to give them that opportunity.
And then was already spent, remember, so OBK is going to be chased down so far. Exhaust already spent, but it's onto the Poppy, so Annihilation can open fire. Here come the rapid shots. The Q is ticking into the barrier, goes onto the tower shot, flashing the other side. Meanwhile, up the top side of your screen, Wiggler jumping forwards, gets the shutdown on the Fury. Split map, 1-for-1 across the Rift, and it is Nativz punching back in the mid lane.
And it was just an overstep from the Fury. Yes, you win the 1v1 from the Master Yi, but you had no prio in top, had no prio towards the mid lane as well. So Marvelous Badger and Wiggler moving first, getting themselves a kill. And this Master Yi may not be super far ahead, but is definitely making plays on the map. And honestly, I'm just proud to see a Master Yi making plays, because honestly, I'm just used to them just staying in their jungle and just letting the team die.
See you at 35 minutes, flashing forwards. OBK's gonna get Buster Shot backwards. Good reflexes from Annihilation. Gets him out of a bit of a jam. Meanwhile, returning to the scene of the crime, Sammy has the auto attacks ticking, but no Highlander, remember, not level 6 Earthshaker. Slowly chipped away, buying time for Nefiri. No mana on the Badger means that they're not able to get the feast off, so we'll die 1-for-1 so far. Jungles, level 6, level 5. Quick work made of the Master Yi. And that is Dr. House picking up a double kill in the top lane.
And it's just too weak, isn't he, this Master Yi? Because of all of those invades Dr. House was able to achieve on Sammy, he's not level 6, he can't kill Milio fast enough, and more importantly, he doesn't have the damage to kill him out, so they don't just lose that double kill over to Dr. House, they also lose these Void Grubs, and that was a big win con from the Native side. As yes, they'll never win team fights against the enemy, but their 1-3-1 with that Rising Cho'Gath would be super potent in the late game. Without these Void Grubs, it's just a little bit easier for the side of Mixed Alumni to deal with.
Not to mention, Annihilation, she's on the Demolitionist for a reason. This is Tristana with Grubs and those little Void Mites when you take all 3. So not only is it a part of the feat of monster slaying, as I recently discovered the name, but it is also going to be just straight up great dot damage onto the structures for a champion who already thrives in the role.
That's honestly surprising you didn't know the name of it.
I know, however, is Wiggler going to be taking a whole host of damage. Tibbers summoned up, getting 2/3 of the health bar on the other side. And yeah, I have some gaps in the memory. There's the fact that okay, I will say this, I didn't know a good place to kind of weave this in. Do you know what Melio Q is called, by the way? Now that it's actually going to be AP Melio and it's going to matter for the first time in maybe 100 games. You know what the spell is called?
It's more embarrassing because I've made a full YouTube video on this champion, but I don't. I just know Cozy Campfire.
I did watch your short on how to play Melio, that's where I learned it, trust. However, Highlander proc, hold this thought, Emmett does not have Tibbers, remember, spent earlier on. Wiggler's gonna be chipping in with whatever he has, but it's not enough to get it done. Rooted out of the engage, so he will live to tell the tale. Sammy not quite so fortunate as Dr. House looking at 5 and 2. Bot lane is a slaughter as Annihilation goes on a rampage. Yuumi next on the chopping block. It is Plato Dig and Annihilation continuing to hammer at the bot lane.
Honestly, you can call everybody on the side of Mixed Alumni the Annihilation Squad by the way they are destroying this Nativz roster. But still, I want to hear the story. What's the ultimate, or sorry, the Q called for Melio?
It's okay. It's Ultra Mega Fire Kick. For a spell that does like 80 magic damage, it's called Ultra Mega Fire Kick. So
I need
now,
to defend it a little bit.
Sure.
All right. Because you're saying it doesn't deal damage. Have you been looking towards the top lane? I haven't had a chance to mention it, but it almost deals as much damage as this Poppy does.
I've seen this one before, and the steadfast present to get the ground. Can the Yuumi join in time, getting the shield off, maybe able to fight their way out? Plato Dig out of damage, but just held up in the bush, and it is Tristana here to mop up. Almost a trade kill, but almost only counts. And meanwhile, hold that. Wiggler's gonna eat another bear to the face here. Everywhere you look, it is blue team pressing keys and red team running for the hills. Sammy, however, is gonna be trying to counter yank this. Emmett gets the solo kill with the flash forwards. Alpha strike spent. Smite for the slow. Has the Wuju style ticking, and that's a shutdown in the mid lane. Master Yi might be down in farm, but he is still certainly trying his best to make the plays.
Yeah, he's done a really good job of counter ganking and finding those plays when his laners may not be able to find the kills, but he definitely can. So 4 kills in the pocket. Going to have that first item and boots. Master Yi very strong at that 2 item. As,
no vein.
I think we should stick as casters, honestly.
Throwing up the emote as soon as the dog showed up, knowing that there's nothing more to be done. It is Poppy However, looking at a fight with the Master Yi, and Cho'Gath will have first move. Earthshaker on a collision course, trying to find the rest of the damage, but it is Poppy escaping. Re-engaging, Earthshaker connecting on said Ultra Mega Fire Kick as they turn around, put the damage onto the Poppy, feasted up and shut down. That is true damage for a reason. Marvelous Badger getting on the board.
I have to say, the Ultimate Fire Kick did sound really cool when you said it.
Ultra Mega Fire Kick is...
Look at that.
It is a real spell, I promise, on this champion and this champion exclusively as they go for a tower dive. Here comes the Breath of Life trying to buy a moment, but Tower Shot doesn't have enough punch. Earthshaker goes down, and Sammy slowly closing the gap. Wiggler scouting out so far. Tibbers is on the run here, has the stuns ticking. Does he have the move speed out? Q stuns, up point and click down. No outplaying. Wiggler hitting the respawn timer for 25 seconds and no mana once again. No feast, has flash if you're able to get the other side and slam into the wall with the heroic charge. Flash is late. Plato Dig survives the tower shot on 100 HP. And Poppy getting the dive up top.
Cho'Gath, no ultimate available, can't turn that around, but really well played by Marvelous Badger in this early game. Somebody who had to come in, a support main heading towards top lane. Being 1, 2, and 2 in a difficult matchup is really good to see as towards the mid lane. One player that we've talked a little bit about, Annihilation, just annihilating his towers. We've already got that bot lane, got the mid one as well. And honestly, I'm happy that we can't look at tower plays because 3,800 is the difference between both of these AD carries, and it's looking rough, doesn't it? Because I believe when this Tristana goes to that reset, should be able to get that Infinity Edge, and that is going to be such a huge power spike where honestly, I don't even think Master Yi's could be winning that fight.
Every time the Neferi is on screen, it is looking rough, Zach.
Anyone on this team, honestly. If they're on the screen, it's not looking great. As Dr. House stealing away one of those blue buffs is...
Flash spent and not slammed into the wall this time. Ghost Flash, final hour, everything in the kitchen sink spent, but does remain standing as Sammy's going to pick a fight in the 3v1. Can the Vayne look to find any sort of contribution? And it gets the solo out. Somehow the Master Yi gets an Alpha Strike off, slammed into the wall, and cut short. Montage music was getting a little loud there for a second, but is eventually a 1-for-1 in the long play. Ignite ticking. Emmett's trying to find the rest of the damage as Tibbers gets the auto off. Emmett picking up the kill in the top lane.
Yeah, picking up that top lane tower. Marvelous Badger having no magic resist just yet, having to opt in towards more of that HP as Earthshaker dealing a lot of that damage early on, while Annihilation towards the mid lane is going to be grabbing up this tower. But so far, really strong positioning from the side of Mix Alumni. Yes, they keep dying towards this Master Yi, but they still have very good options with that Annie and the team fight. They need to be a little careful once they get towards 2 items, which this Master Yi has. If they make another mistake like that, there's a big opportunity that this Master Yi can start snowballing.
I also rate, just as an aside, Tristana using Buster Shot for damage. Something about that, it screams confidence to me. That's the kind of the Chad play that you like to see from your AD carries. You don't often get those kinds of moments.
But do you know what sounds even cooler than that?
What sounds even cooler than that?
Melio Q. Super Mega Fire Death Kick.
Yeah,
I may have added the death part to it, but
I
think
know
it
that spell like the back of my hand. Trust.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay. As an aside, while we do have this, there's the only reason I know this was the Poppy. We'll just pop the Hex Flash. The only reason I know that one is because Super Mega Death Rocket and Ultra Mega Fire Kick should definitely not be in the same tier of names.
Yeah, they should be in the same
Jinx ult definitely does not feel like they're the same. And then you have the whatever the.
Do you even know what his pet's called?
Whose pets?
Yeah, Emilio's pet, the bull.
Emilio's pet? I have absolutely no idea. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Dr. House Deuce does spend that invulnerable. This is Yi Yuumi at their full extent. Cannot be slowed. He cannot be crippled. Underneath the tower, Alpha Strike. And does he have the meditate? Tower shot. There it is. Blocking up late. Good nerves here. Sammy's going to get one up in the top lane.
Yeah, and they get that top lane tower. Some more gold in towards their pocket. Yes, they lose 700 gold towards the bot lane, but if Wiggler can survive...
Flash slam and tons of damage out of the Poppy, trying to find some sort of shielding, but not a chance. Poppy is just a thorn in the native side.
Yeah, double TPs coming through here. Marvelous Badger trying to get out and dodge. And is going to get some assistance with that. But the problem for Nativz is Sammy is making some incredible plays on the side wave. But every time he does so, they always lose more than they can gain. Probably because of how far behind they are. But if they play just a little safer, and I know how hard that is for a Rise and a Vayne that don't have much mobility, if they can do, there's actually a big opportunity here when Nativz Gaming may be able to sneak a few more kills and sneak their way back into this game.
I just want to have a quick checkup here for the Alumni squad. This is 2 items completed for both of the carries, right? This is 17 minutes in the game, 2 items completed. Well, there are members of Nativz that haven't even successfully gotten one off. This is... We were told to stall. If we were trying to cheer on this Nativz side, stalling is going to become more and more difficult over time.
But it's about those small victories, right? Pick up one thing. Rod of Ages almost completed for Wiggler. That's positive. Sammy's also nearly towards those 3 items, the major person that you need to have them on early into this game. And yes, 70 minutes in, they have lost most of their towers. They haven't given up any inhibitors. They still have themselves the benefit of picking up this Rift Towers without any contest coming out from the side of Mixed Alumni. So yes, it's looking bleak, but it isn't completely over just yet. We've seen the opportunities when Sammy's able to open up, start firing, and even getting a few kills from it.
The Yuumi got the eye. The recall is on the Yuumi.
But Yuumi can place it for Master Yi, you know? Being as supportive as possible.
However, there might be a trap laid, a possible chance, but this is going to be a 2-man Tibbers, and exploding is Master Yi. Tibbers arrives and Nativz will fall. Double kill over to the Annie. Dr. House keeping it going as they surge into the Nativz base. The Cho'Gath can only chuck out a Rupture as the Tristana going to continue jumping forwards with that rocket jump. Tempo stacking. The base is going to take an absolute beating. Cho the only one left to try and hold the door. And it is 12 seconds left until anyone rejoins. Earthshaker eating 3 tower shots is quite a bit of damage. Rupture going to be flashed away from. Remember, no feast from the ultimate use on the Herald. Ace complete as the team members begin to respond. And it's likely going to be too early to end, but a cracked base 19 minutes into the game.
Yeah, they're just playing with their food now. Instead of trying to look for that end, trying to get one more kill on towards Marvelous Badger, which they are going to be able to achieve. As honestly, I was not expecting that amount of damage coming out from Annie. I get you're ahead, but my God, I didn't know you were that far ahead. And because of that, I said about the options that Mixed Alumni have of dealing with this Master Yi, and I think that's exact proof of it.
It is. We were joking earlier about the fact that if you have 3 late game carries going and you can only Tibbers one of them, the other 2 are going to tear you apart. Roa might not be the answer here as we have a Highlander stepping. Sammy's going to try and fight his way out of the corner. Tibbers spent point and clicked. No montage to be had. Incipiens is the loot pinata when you slay the strongest member. Double kills the Annie, taking the tally to 11-1 in this game.
And it's just such a good neutralizer pick. Sammy, the only major carry that Nativz have left on the team. But when there's an Annie on the enemy team with 2 items, you just can't physically play the game until that Tibbers is out. So they will be able to pick themselves up this bot lane tower as Wiggler.
Wiggler Annihilation in a 1v1 cut swiftly short. Tristana picking that one up in the bot lane.
Honestly, really close for 3-item Tristana against only 1.5 items. On towards that mid lane for Wigglers. They pick up the tower, maybe picking up Marvelous Badger as well.
Burning, but not dead. Badger able to slip out with a sliver of HP. Those Merc Treads, just enough MR.
Oh, you can see he's thinking about it, of trying to engage it towards the enemy. But we've seen what Annie can do with those 2 items.
He's spamming the ult timer. No Tibbers, I could go. It's different this time.
Okay. You know, it will always be different. But he does have that wit's end if he gets himself a little more magic position.
I've seen this before. Tibbers used. This time it's not lethal. Exhausted and gets the outplay. 1-for-1 trade. Yuumi is going to be cut quickly short, however, making this a long run back for the Cho'Gath. Flash spent. OBK is going to be chased down by this Nefiri. Slice and dice forward. Dr. House picking up a double kill of their own. Cho'Gath may be a tougher target to try and slay, getting a 2-man silence. Rupture onto Plato, but he's not the one tanking. Breath of Life to get the cleanse off, and that's a swift triple. Nefiri piling up to 10-3.
Yeah, I would have actually brought Canic Rookhorn if I was Sammy 3rd item with how much magic damage you're dealing with. Wiggler, the only person left to defend here.
Earthshaker going for the flash interrupt and accepting his fate. Wiggler knows that when he's been caught and he's going to hit the respawn timer. Sammy, 1v5. This is Master Yi's time. Kill the music. As he's got a heal, he's actually going to be able to make his way out. So lives for the longest. Might be a bit of a stall moment here as Plato's going to be looking condemned out of it. That's good movement here from OBK. Knocked backwards, but Emilio Q that we alluded to actually got some sting on it. Legendary for the Tristana. Meanwhile, 2v1. Sammy's got his Yumi in tow, and he's liking his chances. Emmett, however, has got the Empowered Blast Cone. Can fly forwards if they get the angle. Badger desperately trying to get any sort of a wave clear, but Tristana is heaping damage into this tower.
And they're just running for their life. Sammy knows what happens if that Annie catches up. It is just pure
Turns in. Sammy turns around at the last moment. And this is going to be a quick wrap up here. I bet 27. This game isn't even going to hit 23 as the rest of Alumni Guild close it out in 23 minutes. 40-11, Zaf.
I think the 1-50 bet was about right here today. Of course, pure domination here from Mixed Alumni, but honestly, it was a good bit of fun. People enjoyed themselves, had their series. Next games will be a little bit more closer, we do guarantee it. Of course, Heltic, our beloved person behind the scenes, will be playing on the team. He's been getting some practice in. I guarantee you that team with Heltic on it is going to be super strong. At least I hope so.
It will be a new look, right? It's got to be. It's See, okay, this is normally where you and I throw to the breakdown, and I'm gonna leave this one to you while I have a breakdown. What did I just watch there? What just happened?
Honestly, yeah, I wish we had replays available just to watch it. The intense gameplay of Master Yi walking in and he's saying no. That's literally everything that happened this game. Was you had one carry, got countered by the Annie, couldn't play the game. And honestly, my favorite part was just Emilio top lane. And to answer your question, what its little blob yellow ball thing is called a Fumago. I know. Genius here. Do you may know what that Q is called? I know what its passive is.
Like Fuego type deal?
I think, look, it's like
Oh, you brother, Fuego. Like it's like fire, it's like Fuego, and amigo is in friend. It's literally fire friend in Spanish, brother.
Okay, all right. And I'm as English as it comes. I'm trying to be positive here. See, this is the reason we keep him on the play-by-play. I got the big brain, may not know all the names.
Fuemigo, I just pulled it up here. Allied champions near the Fuemigo. It's literally fire and amigo in Spanish melted together because they're little fire friends, little ember guys.
I mean, it's very cute and very powerful, especially when it's super fire something in it. But we should get a little bit more on track. We should talk about what is going to be coming up for the Office Showdown in our next couple games. Because, of course, today was a little bit more of a domination. But the more we get into this, the better these teams are going to be getting. And a lot closer these games are going to be. Especially if you're watching it here, you're going to be playing it. Get your practice in, because these teams are definitely going to be getting better.
Absolutely. But that is, unfortunately, going to be doing it for us. The next two teams going to be pulling up on Office Showdown are going to be the Logitech and the EDTech team. They're going to be showing face alongside some of the alumni, some of the Nativz guys. They're going to continue to kind of show face, show what they got. I could expect maybe a little bit more preparation to be going in as we have, maybe more than 15 minutes before members are being enlisted onto rosters down the line, but it will be doing it for us today. Next week, same time, same place. Thank you very much for joining us in the pilot. I have been Sandbag. This has been Zathos. Heltic behind the camera making things happen. Same time, same place, next week. Promise only bangers, and we'll see you in that one. Have a great rest of your evening, guys. Take care.